Just when you think that Disney cannot get any worse, that somehow they find a way, because right now, the actors of Disney cannot stop shutting their mouths, continuing to disrupt the company's potential profits and alienating half the fan base over and over and over again. And in this case, seemingly all at once, we have more nonsense regarding Rachel Zegler, but not just her. We have Pedro Pascal and John Boyega both saying stupid, stupid things simultaneously. So we all know about Rachel Zegler at this point. I don't think I need to add any more to the conversation about her. We all know that she hates the fan base. We all know that she hates Disney movies itself. We all know that she hates Trump supporters and hopes that they never ever find peace. We know that she's for Palestine, and that has alienated Gal Gadot and has essentially caused legitimate safety concerns regarding her co-star, an Israeli former IDF soldier. But now we got someone else chiming in. We have Pedro Pascal here, you know, the guy that alluded half the country to being Nazis from World War II, the guy that did not have his countrymen's back, his own co-star's back, when she considered him a friend prior to him stabbing her in the back. He did not have Gina Carano when she was getting basically crucified by Disney. And, well, let's just take a look at what he had to say about Snow White. Icon. Very, 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 very impressive. Pedro Pascal, also known as he, him. Because it's not like, you know, Snow White is totally in the toilet. It's not like the box office has not been absolutely abysmal for the movie. He had to go ahead and he had to spout his little mouth and he had to try to chime into the conversation as well. You know, it's really not a smart thing for someone like Pedro Pascal to be throwing his name into the mess of things, right? He already has a history of attacking the fans. Him trying to back Rachel Zegler on this matter is, it's not out of character for him. Let's just put it that way. But right now, he has huge prospects ahead of him, right? He has the Mandalorian movie coming out soon for theaters, and he has Fantastic Four coming out, and he has Avengers Doomsday coming out, all within the span of like 2-3 years of each other. So he should be not in any position to be talking about politics right now, alienating any potential customers, especially not Trump supporters, the people that actually, you know, like to watch these movies. And people already hate him, but we'll see how bad things get for him. You know, this should not have any issues on the film whatsoever. That is provided he doesn't start opening his mouth. When Gina Carano goes to court with Disney and she starts diving into her lawsuit with Disney, I can guarantee right now Pedro Pascal is going to do something stupid. But will it alienate fans the way that someone like Rachel Zegler has alienated the fans? I honestly don't know. Someone has to be really, really, really insufferable in order to turn off a whole audience base to the movie, right? What worked about Rachel Zegler was that it's not like she just hated Trump supporters. She hated everybody. She hated people on the right. She hated people that were for Israel. And she hated Disney fans, people that are very, very far on the left, people that just love the original cartoon. She hated them, and she disrespected them, and she said that we're going to shit on your source material. So with that in mind, that's what caused Snow White to have an absolutely terrible, terrible flop experience at the box office. Let's take a look at some of these box office figures, shall we? Right now, Snow White is doing number 3 at the box office, according to Box Office Mojo. Now, I don't know how reliable this figure honestly is, because I've been hearing reports from other sources that The Working Man, Jason Statham's new movie, has been outperforming Disney quite a bit. And for some reason, The Working Man is not in Box Office Mojo when I just checked it today, but, you know, whatever. According to Box Office Mojo, $142 million for this movie. $142 million. For a movie that costs like $400 million, that needs like $850 million just to break even. They've only grossed a seventh of that cost. You needed $150 million on opening weekend just to have any hope of any chance of success for this movie. They have not even reached $150 million in the second week. This movie has dropped off a cliff. It has only made $66 million domestically. That is utterly abysmal. Guys, this movie is looking to lose anywhere between $300 million to $500 million for the Disney company, making it the worst financial failure of any live-action adaptation they have ever made thus far. That's like Marvel's level territory. The Marvels barely crossed over $200 million worldwide. We will see what Snow White does. My guess is maybe 250. If they're lucky, maybe 280. But 280 is even pushing it at this point. I'm thinking it could actually be about 190 when this is all said and done. Not even $200 million. Absolutely ridiculous. And Disney brought it on themselves. And Disney continues to do this to themselves because now they got freaking Pedro Pascal running his mouth. We'll see if he keeps on, destroying the fan base any more than Rachel Zegler already has. Although I don't really think that's an easy thing to accomplish. We'll see if he does it though. But then we have somebody else throwing his name into the mix all at once. This just happened today as well. John freaking Boyega. Finn, who calls out Rey's name at any chance he gets. Finn from Star Wars has decided to throw his name into the mix and attack the frickin' fan base. Why do they do this to each other? Why do they do this to themselves? People didn't mind him as Finn. It was his characterization that was so bad. Nobody really cared that a black guy was in Star Wars. We've seen that countless times. What cared about was the story. You wanted to see a true good story. You remember how the trailers made it seem like Finn was going to be a Jedi? I was like, oh my gosh. That Force Awakens trailer, I remember the hype way back when. I was so pumped for new Star Wars. And then we ended up getting the reality of it. And it was absolutely terrible, to say the least. But now John Boyega, when the fans have never attacked him, decided to attack the fans because liberal reasons. John Boyega says Star Wars is so white that a black person existing in it is a big deal. Toxic fans are okay with us playing the friend, but we can't touch their heroes. Oh my gosh. People literally thought you were the main character in Force Awakens, and everybody, literally everybody, was excited to get back into the theater and see what Star Wars could do under Disney. Nobody had any doubts about Disney's ability to do stuff because this is before Disney destroyed their reputation. Anyway, John Boyega called out Star Wars for being so white during an interview as part of the new Apple TV Plus original documentary, #1 on the call sheet, Black Men Leading in Hollywood. Boyega debuted as Finn in Star Wars The Force Awakens, reprised his character in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. His role in the sequel trilogy led to online harassment from racist and toxic Star Wars fans upset with a black actor playing a lead role in the space franchise. Let me tell you, Star Wars always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. It's a franchise that's so white that a black person existed in it was something, Boyega said in the documentary. You can always tell it's something when Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian and we had Samuel L. Jackson. It's like telling me how many cookie chips are in the cookie dough. It's like they just scattered that in there, bro. They're okay with us playing the best friend, but once we touch their heroes, once we lead, once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my God, it's just a bit too much. They're pandering. Shut up. Literally everybody wanted you to be a Jedi. I was so excited to see what you could do as the character. A stormtrooper becoming a Jedi? That sounds awesome. And then they shit on your character. We're not to blame. Boyega first aired his grievances to GQ magazine back in 2020 about Disney's fumbling of diversity in his Star Wars trilogy. He said at the time, "What would I say to Disney is do not bring out a black character. Market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It's not good. I'll say it straight up. You guys knew what to do with Daisy Ridley. You guys knew what to do with Adam Driver," Boyega continued. "No, they did not. But when it comes to Kelly Marie Tran, when it came to John Boyega, you know fuck all. So what do you want me to say? What they want you to say is, I enjoyed being a part of it. It was a great experience. Nah. I'll take that deal when it's a great experience. They'll give me all the nuance to Adam Driver, all the nuance to Daisy Ridley. Again, what are you even talking about? What nuance? They absolutely bastardized their characters. They are terrible characters, used by good actors. Let's be honest. Daisy knows this. Adam knows this. Everybody knows. I'm not exposing anything. Oh my goodness. So this guy is literally calling out his own co-stars. He's literally shitting on them and throwing them under the bus. Kind of like what Rachel Zegler did to her love interest in Snow White.
It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Boyega later added, that a Disney executive reached out to him following his GQ interview. He said he had a very honest, very transparent conversation with the Disney executive and added, there was a lot of explaining on their end in terms of the way they saw things. They gave me a chance also to explain what my experience was like. I had hoped that me being so open with my career at this stage would help the next man, the guy that wants to be the assistant director of photography, the guy that wants to be a producer. I hope that the conversation is not such a taboo or elephant in the room now, because someone just came and said it. Said what? That you're a professional victim? That you're calling everybody racist because your movie was garbage? Not because of the fans, but because the writers screwed you over? You're calling the fans out now for who had your back? You're calling them the problem? What are you doing? Say what you want about Rey Skywalker, but at least Daisy Ridley has, to my knowledge, not excessively attacked the fans. She's done a few little nabs here and there, but nothing like severe, not like what John Boyega's doing. This man is trying to compete with Rachel Zegler, the same way that Pedro Pascal tries to compete with Rachel Zegler when he calls the country Nazis, the same way that Rachel Zegler tries to compete with Rachel Zegler. Guys, what the fuck are the Disney actors even doing? These guys are terrible. The Disney actors that Disney hires, they are activists first, artists second, and this is the result. You end up getting a bunch of diversity hires who are going to attack the fan base and call everybody out when they don't support something that they just did not like. And in doing so, Disney just continues to hurt themselves, and they never learn their lessons. They have not learned anything. They continue to make the same mistake year after year after year. So, you know, we will see what happens now. John Boyega, his career is pretty much like in the toilet. If he's lucky, maybe he can do indie films now. Same with Daisy Ridley, right? Her film career is in the toilet, I gotta say. Pedro Pascal has a film career, but the more that he attacks the fans, the more he continues to sabotage his future. So we'll see where he ends up after this is all said and done. But anyway, guys, that was the video. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. Hollywood has never learned their lessons. I don't think they ever will. So I'll just continue to grift off them, as usual. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I will see you guys in the next one.